Welcome to Warrior Trail Foundation's The Longer Miles. And today we have with us our coach and co-host, Brittany Peterson, and our Warrior Trail athlete, Maggie Smith, who is getting ready to take on a little adventure overseas. And you are our first athlete competing overseas. So congratulations, Maggie. And we're excited to hear what you have to tell us today about your journey. So let's just dive in and see what we can learn today and what we can share with our listeners. And I will be remiss if I don't ask you to like and share what you hear today with everybody across your listening audience. So Maggie, tell us, you're heading to Morocco, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Which
The
is
Sahara.
where?
North Africa. Yep. North Africa. So it's not a new country for me. I did like a internship in college when I was in Morocco. So I spent some time there, learned some Arabic, lots of cultural things, made some really great friends. So yeah,
Awesome. I just out of curiosity, do they not also speak French in Morocco?
they do. Yes. But I did not take French in high school, which is a lifelong regret.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Marathon des Sables is French, correct?
Yes. Marathon of the Sands.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think so. Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, tell us about this adventure, why you decided this of all things. Have you ever run in the desert before?
No, in fact, when I was doing my internship, I think it's been 19 years, I distinctly remember camping. I think we did like 3 or 4 nights camping in the Sahara, and I remember thinking, I will never come back here. This sucks. So naturally, I'm headed back.
Never say never.
Never say never. Still, my daughter uses my sleeping bag that I used camping in the Sahara, now going to summer camp, and she will say there's sand in the bottom of it still. It's never going anywhere. So I said I would never go there again. But it kind of paired with, at that time in my life, one of the mentors for the internship. We had PT training during the internship, and it was run by a Marine. And my dad's a Marine, so it felt a little too close to home to have PT run by a Marine. That's not easy. But I had told him one day that I had always wanted to run a marathon. And he, not in a mean way or anything, but he just kind of really discouraged me. He said, it's really hard. And he probably just said that comment, and I've blown it up in my mind. So every marathon I've run since then, I think of this person, and it's not in a way that's like I'm doing it because he said that or anything. I'm not giving up on myself, my 20-year-old self who had that desire. And I remember thinking at the time, maybe you're right. Like that, it is kind of a crazy thing to run a marathon. Not anymore. I don't think that.
No.
So yeah,
Awesome.
so I've always known about this race. It's like my sporting event. Every April, the timing of the race fluctuates based on Ramadan. So it's the week right after, like a week and a half or so after Ramadan. And every MDS season, I'm like glued to my phone, watching the little dots cross the Sahara. And every year I have my athletes that I'm like cheering for. It's just been like, to say it's a dream seems so silly because it almost feels like something I've felt compelled to do for years and years and years. And so, but I also knew I couldn't, or maybe shouldn't, or would have the best outcome if I had a coach. And this year, when I got the email that said I was selected to have a coach, I talked about it with my husband, and he was like, this just seems like the most opportune time for you to take on this race. And also, please do it so you stop talking about it. So, yeah. And Brittany has been like all in and excited for me and just an amazing partner to walk through this with.
Fantastic. Well, I love the story. I love the fact that you were like told you'd never run a marathon and promised yourself you'd never go back to the desert. I too had one of those sleeping bags with sand that would never go away because I spent almost 2 months living in the Sahara in Egypt when I
Okay.
was there with the army. And I threw that bag away. I gave up. Now, I will tell you that I promised I will never go back there, and I will stick to that promise.
You are there for too long to circle back around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have. A matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I left Egypt with a chronic condition because I've had a chronic cough and all kinds of issues ever since.
Wow.
And I can never prove it, but my doctor actually, my or my private doctor here in the United States, actually, after treating me for everything else, treated me basically for the plague. And that's the only thing that seemed to knock it out.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'm one of those plague sufferers from what the Holy Grail. I'm not quite dead yet, but I am hanging on. That's awesome. It's really awesome to hear the story about how you're going, why you're going. Mostly, I'm really thrilled that the Warrior Trail Foundation was able to step up and bring Brittany into your life as a coach and maybe help fuel this passion for this. I have bad news for your husband, though. This is only the beginning.
He
Unless you are the completely like one off trail runner, this is only the beginning. You probably will be even more addicted from this point forward. So Brittany, tell me, what was it like to get Maggie as a new athlete assignment and to find out what her aspirations were? You have some experience running in the desert, but not that desert. So,
No, and I mean, so super exciting because obviously I've known about MDS. I have not followed quite to the extent that Maggie has, but I had a friend that did it. And then I know like various people in the running world where it's like you see them in the updates when they come up and it's like, oh, they're running it this year. Cool. Like then you look at like how's it going today versus yesterday? What gear are they wearing? Holy crap, how big is that pack on their back? Like all the things. So it's been super fun to obviously put our heads together because I feel like MDS is very much a race that intrigues me, just like so many other races. But I love the races that, it's yes, the physical training is a huge part of it, but man, there is so much more that goes into it. And that's where like major kudos to Maggie because anytime that we like got together on a call and kind of like updated to before we were like plotting out our next like series of checkpoints as far as the training goes and like how to tailor the training in a way where it was getting more specific to what MDS would require. Like, and I want you to share, Maggie, about like the resources, one, the group that you kind of connected with, and like all of the like you have gone through everything. And it's just been super, super impressive because honestly, that's what a race like this takes because there's so much planning on logistics and just figuring out your own specifics for the race because it's going to differ from person to person.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd love to hear that. And just as a note to our listeners, this is our preview of MDS. We're going to bring Maggie back
Yeah.
after she's done to hear about how she's never ever going back to the desert again and
How
never
she's
doing
still
this
dumping
race
sand out
again.
of her shoes.
No shoes, right? We should actually send a little or little kitchen scale with you so we can measure your shoes before and after each day, right? See how much
But don't
Yes.
put
sand
that
you're.
in your pack. Not
But
worth
yeah, so
carrying.
tell us about that, Maggie. Tell us about the preparation, this group that you became part of, and who you're gathering information from.
And actually,
Yeah. So
sorry,
go ahead.
can we first just preface like MDS, it's 6 stages over 7 days.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Thank
actual
you.
mileage of it, Maggie?
I won't know till I'm on the bus on the way to the desert.
Okay, yeah, but like the long
Uh,
day on stage 4 is a K, but between that it's like 30K, 45K or somewhere in there each day. But the big thing with MDS is you carry everything from like it's a point to point. You're camping, you carry all of your gear, you get an allotment of water, but the aid stations don't have food or fuel. They give you refill of water and that's it. So it's very self-supported, so there's a whole lot that goes into it as far as what gear do you bring, how heavy does it weigh, how much food do you have, what do you fuel with, how many pairs of socks do you have, like all of those things. So that gives
yeah.
the context of now, Maggie, share all of the planning you've done.
Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has been like I have my scale and I'm measuring like which one spare t-shirt weighs less of, which leggings weigh less. And when I think I have nothing extra in my backpack, I have to find something to take out because it's too heavy. So, yeah, I have watched every YouTube video, and this is not just this year of training. For probably 4 years or more, I have watched every YouTube video that's come out. I have been doing little things for years thinking, well, just in case I ever run MDS, like I bought special foot lotion for my feet. And about once a month, I put it on my feet thinking that'll help in the future. When my family lived in Thailand for a long time, and we lived in an area that had a smoky season. People were burning crops and stuff. And so my husband found me a treadmill and we put it in front of a window that looked out at my mango tree. And I would just run as much as I could because you cannot run outside. The air quality is so bad, you can chew it. So I would be running, watching MDS videos, thinking, this sucks so bad. I'm on a treadmill. However, I am building something inside of me that's going to fuel me in the long run. So, I mean, I watched mangoes go from flower to fruit on my treadmill as I just was moving along. And I would think, okay, I'm going to turn off the air conditioning because that'll simulate, some heat, which it would maybe is a sign of some sort of mental illness because this was years ago before I
No,
ever.
the mental illness starts with running on a treadmill, watching videos about running somewhere else.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
That's like a unique trait, I think, amongst trail runners, because I never see marathon runners do that. Like, like road runners, they don't get on a treadmill with an iPad. It's just us trail runners that get on a treadmill and just pray to God that we could be somewhere other than where we are.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, during that time I would run outside with I found some specially made running masks and I would run outside and I mean, first of all, it's 95 degrees, 200% humidity, and I'm wearing a mask and it sucked and I kept doing it but I wasn't even training for anything. It
Yeah.
was fun. It was
Awesome.
actually fun. Yeah. So, but anyway, I got hooked up with this group of mostly British, lots of European MDS runners, and they have been amazing. The group chat is constantly buzzing with, check this out. Have you thought of this? And the kind of like the guy who organizes the chat, his name's Rory Coleman, and he's done MDS 18 times. So he just knows his stuff. And he's a little bit older, like maybe 60 something, 60 plus. He's so cool.
Be careful.
Yeah. A little bit. So it's been super cool to connect with all of them. And there's a girl from Mexico City. There's a guy from Kuwait, all over the place. And really, so far, I'm only aware of 3 other people from the US that are running it. I'm sure there are more, but they're hard to
Anybody we
find.
should know?
Well, Des Linden, she's from the
Ah,
next county over in
yes.
Michigan, the next county over. So she's running it and will be the bookends of the race. She'll be on one end and I'll be following up in the rear.
I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good deal.
Magda Boulay is also running.
Is
Mhm.
she?
Yeah. So we're
Yes.
already, trying to, pull some strings and get
I
tent mates or whatever, make sure that
yeah,
Maggie's with the
we
elite there. That'd be pretty sweet.
could do,
The
Or the
especially
tent
Michigan, at
Magda.
least the Michigan. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially Magda, because we met I got to meet Magda at the running event in December, and I have to say it was sort of a embarrassing moment for me because I didn't know who she was and I didn't know what her current position was. And I'm standing there like a innocent child saying, "So, well, I knew who Magda was as a, person. I just didn't recognize her, right?" And she introduces me to her and says, "This is Magda." And I'm like, "The only Magda I know is Magda Belay, and that couldn't possibly be who I'm standing next to, right?" And then I said, "Oh, what do you do?" And she's like, "I'm the CEO of Goo." I was like, duh. Hilarious.
Pretty amazing runner also.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
all around just great human.
Yeah, she's awesome. Awesome. I was
Think
very honored to
MDS
meet her.
Yeah, I think MDS is going to be full of cool people who are like just, trail running type people. One of the guys on the group chat has stage 4 cancer and he's running this. It's just amazing to hear all the stories that are coming out now, let alone when we have hours and hours and hours in the desert to chit chat.
What's the weather gonna be like?
Real hot. Average, like 40 to 50 Celsius. So like,
What?
yeah,
50 Celsius? I don't even know what that is.
yeah,
Really hot.
like
So
105.
100 plus.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's absolutely over 100.
yeah, and like relentless. You know what the Sahara's like? Relentless sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
was there in July and August.
oh,
Yeah, so and I spent better part of a year in Ramadi, Iraq, so in Kuwait. So I definitely have an idea of what that's like in summer. But Iraq, we were a little further north, so not so bad in May, you know. But is it humid or not?
I don't think so. I have been meaning to Google the humidity level, but I don't think it's humid. And I'm kind of banking on the fact that I've like done a fairly hard ultra in Thailand and it was like 100 plus and really humid. So I hope that just knowing I could do that gets me
Yeah.
a couple steps.
No, a lot of people don't know this, but the desert in many places on the earth is still very humid in some places.
Yeah.
Like Kuwait, I couldn't believe the humidity in Kuwait. And I mean, like in the morning when we would run, there would be like this carve out in the humidity, like in the air, where you could see the person in front of you's body going through the humidity and leaving like
What?
a shadow in the air of, yeah, it was the weirdest thing. It was like you could see where this like person just like ran in front of you and like punctured through the humidity and left this like air area where the humidity was now on them. It was wild. So you literally could cut the air with your hand. Like it was that humid.
That is so crazy. And also, I don't understand the weather behind that if it's
Yeah.
so low
I think
moisture.
it's no, I think it's the evaporation off the local water bodies. You know what I mean? So if you're not near water, like the further you got away from, after you get 10 miles inland, like that didn't exist, but you're going to be near water for part of that race, right?
I don't think so. We're almost to the Algerian border.
Okay. But don't you finish at the water or close to it?
No, so MDS has MDS Legendary, and then over the years they've added on other like littler MDSs, and one of those does finish at the
Okay.
coast.
Yeah, even when you told me that you were signing up and I was on the website, I'm like, I hope she knows what she's signing up for because I have no idea what
Yeah.
she's doing here. Like, it's just like,
That's where I was like, make sure you get the right one.
it's like me registering for the Stockholm Marathon yesterday and not being able to interpret any of the things that I'm reading on the website because it's all in Swedish. And you hit the button that says, switch it to English. And the only word that switched was register. The rest of it was still all
The
in
important one.
Swedish. So what else you need? Just hit register.
That's cool. When is that?
May 30th.
Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I snagged a bib yesterday. It's been sold out for a year, and I snagged a resale bib yesterday from some guy named Frederick in Sweden. So,
Perfect.
who doubled his money on his bib, and I've got my entry, so we're both happy. Cool. Well, I have some rather unique questions I've been thinking about, and if you don't want any of these on the podcast, you could tell me, but I
Okay.
have to ask this question. As a woman in the desert, are there different considerations than a man might have? For instance, sand and bra, sand in other places. Like, how do you deal with that kind of stuff on a stage race where you're not going to have access to showers, things like that for all that time period? I'm just curious because from my experience in the military, it takes a certain degree of difference between men and women living in the desert when we were in Egypt and Iraq and things like that. Very familiar with it from a military standpoint and from a living standpoint, but it's a whole different ballgame doing what you're doing. So I am just curious, have you had any discussions with anybody about things like that, or are you planning to learn the hard way?
Mostly learn the hard way. However, I have thought like, so I have gaiters, of course, that are sewn and Velcroed onto my shoe. But if I get sand in my shoe, I have to stop to get it out before it's a problem. So I've considered like, how am I going to stop? Like if I sit down, because shorts are basically mesh for sand to go through. So I've thought about that, and I think that I'll just pop out my sleeping mat because it's strapped to the outside of my bag. So I've thought that tiny piece through. Not related to sand, but something that's really cool with the new owners of MDS. Any kind of feminine hygiene product, you don't have to carry with you. They have it available at every aid station. They don't use the word aid station because there's no snacks
No,
at
they're
checkpoint,
checkpoints. Yes.
which I think is really cool because, like, it could mean for a woman that she has to carry significantly more than a man. So I really think that's cool. And yeah, I use the 2 times chafing cream. Well, it's not
Yeah.
cream, it's like a roll on thing.
Yeah.
So I just plan to like tip to tail use that and
Hmm.
hope that doesn't like make friends with the sand. We have got a sandbox here at my house. I have tested some things with the sandbox.
So
I
good.
love this. What is Maggie doing next door, rolling in the sand and digging cat holes?
Exactly.
You just
Well,
made
that
your coach so proud.
Don't play in a sandbox, kids. I left a special treat. That's awesome. Well, I have a special tip for you, and
okay.
Brittany's gonna start laughing when I say this. But go check out Hyperlight Mountain Gear. Or I'm sorry, no, Z-Packs. Go to Z-Packs and get one of their microlight kilts.
That makes
Okay?
sense.
The
Okay.
kilt the kilt has no purpose whatsoever for you to keep rain off of you in the desert, but what it will allow you to do that is really awesome is it weighs next to nothing. You roll it up, you tuck it in your pack, and I take that out to sit on in the desert. The other great thing about the kilt is it has a zipper in it, meaning you can change your shorts or do anything without exposing everything that you have right underneath your kilt.
I love it.
Uh, and in torrential downpours and 40 hours of rain, you also can wear it as a kilt, which I did. And it drew some funny laughs, and everybody made fun of my kilt until it was pouring on me, and the only thing that was dry on me was my waist and below. So, but that kilt is the bomb. I introduced it to Jeff Browning and a couple other people, and they were all like, "Man, that thing's pretty awesome."
That's cool.
So,
I will look it up.
yeah, the thing I like about it is made out of dynama, so it weighs nothing. Okay.
Yes.
And it's just a great multi-use tool. Like when you unzip it, you lay it out. It's this, I mean, it's like a yard long, so and like 20 inches wide. So it's a perfect like place to change your shoes, do things like that that can keep you out of the elements.
Is it good in like cold weather as like a layer for warmth as well?
I
Since
used
she's
it at
in
Monster.
Michigan.
Yeah, I used it at Monster last year on the first night when it got really cold, Monster 300. And yeah, so I generally like it has to get really cold before I put on pants or something like that. And I found with the kilt and longer socks, the only thing exposed basically was my knees and my lower thighs, and I was fine. Like, except for when the wind was blowing and blowing up underneath it. But yeah, it's actually a great layer from that. And I also have used it just about a month ago. I used it when I was out on a training run and didn't take a jacket with me. And I actually took it out and wrapped it around my shoulders like a shawl
Didn't
to
take a
finish.
jacket, but took his kilt.
And
There
my
we go.
kilt goes everywhere. Matter of
Excellent.
fact, I'm ordering another one
Makes sense.
because I want to have one in a drop bag in case I lose it.
Good call.
It's like my blanket. I'm like Linus in his blanket. I need my kilt.
Makes
So
sense.
it's a
It
cool
does
idea.
sound incredibly practical. Maggie, why don't you tell us the clothing or like just because I know it's like pretty limited. What's your plan with like how many changes do you have? How are you going to I mean, because I do think this is probably a turning point for some people to be like, oh, I'm not doing that because I don't get to shower for this amount of days.
Yeah.
Like, so how are you approaching that? Not to call you out and say you're gonna be dirty, but it's like
Oh, I
I
am.
don't care. Yeah, exactly. I don't care. That like draws me in of like, wow, this is gonna be super fun and like rugged and like let's go and face the elements. But
Yeah, Brittany's a dirt
there's a lot of
girl,
strategy
so
to that. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. So my change of clothing is 0. Um, I have the most dependable shorts I've ever experienced in my life, and I'm not bringing anything else. Well, that's not true. I'm bringing some smart wool leggings because they are the lightest leggings I own to wear in camp at night because, as you know, the Sahara can get a little cold at night. And then I'm wearing one of the sun shirts, so hopefully I can reduce some of my sunscreen need. And I'm bringing a t-shirt as an alternate shirt, but that's all I'm bringing. I'm like staying in the same outfit for, I actually realized 7 days of running, 9 days without a shower because there's 2 days when you get there that are admin. So
Yeah.
I heard the bus ride from the desert back to Ouarzazate is really, really horrible and smelly.
I bet.
you won't care.
I don't think I'll care. Yeah.
You won't care. You'll be so happy to be going back.
Yeah.
No. Well, so what's the longest in your life you've gone without a shower?
Well, let me preface it with saying that I live most of my life in northern Michigan. So winter is very cold and very limited sweat. So maybe like 5 days.
Okay.
Happy in the winter, not feeling like I need a shower. Also not going around anyway. Maybe during COVID even. But I wasn't gross. When I finish running, if I don't shower within like 20 or 30 minutes, I get really cold. It doesn't matter how warm it is. So I found these oil of Olay wipes that are dry, but they have little dots of soap on them. So I cut them into like the size of a quarter, and it's enough soap to wash my hands and, do like a little, I think if I just
Yeah.
wash my arms, I won't be so cold. So, a couple things like that I think are worth their weight. I found some tiny little washcloths that are like compact, and you just add water to them. So
Yeah.
I have
They have
one of
them at
those for,
REI.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've got one of those for each day just to like wipe off.
I
And
just bought those for Cocodona.
yes, yes, I think they're amazing. Also hard to keep away from your kid who also thinks they're amazing. Just to
Yeah,
add for,
exactly.
yep,
It's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like, I mean, it's a combination of ultralight backpacking, right? And trail racing and survival. So my longest stretch, I think, was 32 days without a shower in the military. And what I will just tell you is that first shower is going to be like the best thing that ever happened in your whole life.
Yes. I can't wait.
It is so rewarding. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun for you. But yeah, cool. Well, that's really exciting stuff. All these little and then all the travel that you had to plan and everything else. And I know that, we were sort of privy to some of your plans, but I mean, how long is it going to take you to get there?
It's not that long. I went for the cheapest ticket. So I have an overnight layover in Atlanta. But then from Atlanta to Marrakesh is, I don't know, maybe like 7 hours. And
Nice.
then Marrakesh to the desert is 4. We go to a town called Ouarzazate, and that's kind of like the base camp town for the desert. So you go to Ouarzazate. Anybody who's traveling in Morocco to do a desert safari would go to Ouarzazate. Then we stay 2 nights there, get on a bus, and the bus takes us 7 hours out into the desert. And then from that point, we have the first night, you get to keep your suitcase with you. So you can make final decisions like, oh, it's way colder than I thought. I need more layers, and you can really fine tune what you're committing to take in your backpack. The next day, you go to a medical check. They weigh your backpack. The minimum weight is 6.5 kilos. Not a problem. You have to have 2,000 calories per day. So they weigh your backpack and take all your paperwork, your EKG, all that, and give you a stamp. And then they put your GPS tracker on your backpack. And they take your suitcase, and you don't see it till you get back to Ouarzazate after the race. So you can pile a bunch of food in your tent for that night. It's not anything you have to carry. So you squirrel away whatever you got from Carrefour that day.
No bears?
No bears. I have intentionally not Googled camel spiders because I'm sure they're there. I'm afraid the camel spider will see me at night.
Yeah.
Our tents are open-sided. So the tent is a camel hair tent. It's 2 sides, maybe 3 sides, but open, and then you're sleeping on Berber rugs. I guess wild gerbils run over you at night too. So
Interesting.
it should be fun.
Brittany, have you ever seen a camel spider?
No, I have not. I think
The
I would
folklore is
be
the
freaked out.
folklore is they'd be as big as you, but I can tell you it's folklore. They're
Bigger than
big,
a
but they're not
tarantula?
that big.
Almost. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're big, but they're not that big.
Yeah.
But still big. My goodness.
Oh yeah, like twice the size of a tarantula. But the
Interesting.
pictures you see on the internet, they hold it like this in front of the thing, so it makes it look like it's
Yeah.
2 feet long. I mean, if you see one that big, that's pretty awesome. Take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't hurt you.
Are they
No.
not aggressive or interested in humans? I'm sure.
I mean, I've only seen them I saw 3 or 4 of them when we were in Egypt, and they scurried as quickly as possible to get away from us. I mean,
Cool. Okay.
the nomads eat them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so anything that's hunted by humans develops I mean, even a spider is smart enough to know to get the heck away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the nomads eat anything. Are there bushes in Morocco like there are in the Eastern Sahara?
Here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect you probably see a bunch of snails.
Okay.
So in the Eastern Sahara, like in Egypt and stuff like that, every one of those desert bushes is covered in snails, and they call it desert escargot. So the nomads eat those at night too. They take them and just put the whole shell into the fire, okay, and cook the snail that way, and then yeah, you couldn't cook. Some of the guys tried them. I was like, nah, I'm good with my MRE.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're choosing an MRE over any other food, you know how disgusting it is.
Yeah. When I lived in Morocco, they actually cooked snails in a giant vat out in front of my apartment.
Yeah.
They must have added cinnamon to it because even to this day, the right smell of cinnamon makes me so nauseous because I just see this
Cinnamon
giant
snails. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, now you might have cinnamon and sugar covered snails. Might be. Maybe I just didn't have the right thing. I don't know. Little Old Bay. Take some Old Bay with you. You'd be good to go.
Old Bay would do the trick.
Awesome. Well, what else can we talk about? I mean, there's just so much. You've got this travel, your training. Um, I'm curious, with regards to the temperatures, it's going to be really hot during the day. You know that. At night, my experience in the desert is that it may not really get that cold temperature wise, but the 40 or 50-degree swing makes it seem like it's bitter, right? You literally feel like you're going to freeze to death when it's 70 degrees and the wind's blowing, right? So, and one of the experiences that I always had in the desert was the fact that here, probably in Michigan too, but here in Pennsylvania and in Colorado at night, the wind's generally calm. But the interesting thing about the desert is can often be very windy overnight because of the temperature changing. So you're going to have that sand blowing in on you all night long too. But after the second or third night, you should be tired enough to not care.
I'm counting on that. I
Yeah.
also, a lot of people bring like sleep masks, not for light, but to keep the sand off your face, off your eyes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and one of the things we used in Egypt was bug masks because the sand fleas.
Oh, yes.
So like a head net,
Yeah.
get yourself a head net
Okay. Thank
because
you.
that keeps the sand fleas from getting on your face and stuff at night too. The sand fleas, honestly, to me, are the worst part of the desert.
Yeah.
It's the no-see-ums that get you long before the other stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll
That
just
sounds,
bite you and leave red marks everywhere and could potentially be carrying disease. That's how the plague is spread off
insects
of
do a lot of
fleas.
damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and at night, they say like keep all your stuff zipped up in your backpack because if a sandstorm blows through, you're going to have stuff everywhere. So,
Cool. Quite the adventure. What were you
Tell
going to say,
us
Brittany?
about just because it's like I think we're touching on a lot of really good things of like just for anyone, if we're sparking interest in somebody listening, because I think it's that Maggie and I've had these conversations of, like how much clothing and sleeping gear do you have in case it's cold? But then how much do you carry that? Or like, how much weight can you actually handle? And then where do you want to, like, where are you going to cut corners or like play with fire, so to speak, on all, which I love that you have that first day to kind of make my, like, okay, I think this will be good, or like, nope, I need to make this change. And so we have those ideas of, like option A, which I feel pretty confident about, and I get to test it. And now I get to like either completely change or feel a little bit more confident as I go into the bulk of the race. But then the same thing, like that's been something that's been on my mind this whole time, where I'm putting in, the training plan where I'm like, I hate to like make you do like a long run and then you're at home, but say like have the meal that you're thinking about having after your race day. Because it's totally different of like, I'm going to have a big burger and I'm going to make fries and when it's like in something like this, especially, 2, 3, 4, 5, more days in, that was feedback I got from my friend when I talked to her about it was like, I know her experience and I'm sure this is such a common, easy thing to happen is, I get a little bit more depleted as I go and I'm running out of food because I rationed it fairly tight because I can only carry so much. So,
Yeah.
Maggie, do you want to talk about like because not to mention it's like I have to make the food, so I probably like oh I love this. Talk about like I'll probably need a stove. Oh, but you don't, right?
that is what I would say that is one of the biggest back and forth conversations on the chat is
Yeah.
take a stove, don't take a stove. Because
Okay.
if you take noodle
Yeah.
things and you get back to camp fast enough, you can
Yeah.
put water in it and put it out in the sun. Like if it's noodles, rice doesn't soften usually. But I not sure how long it's going to take me. And I really like a warm cup of coffee in the morning. So to me, that feels worth the wait to bring the tiny, tiny, tiny stove and fuel blocks. but yeah, like each thing has to be I'm weighing stock cubes. You have to take 2 stock cubes. It's a French organized race, so there's some peculiar requirements, including stock cubes. So I thought, okay, you have to take these. So I've actually been training to drink stock cubes as part of my sodium replenishment. Not that bad, actually. Not that bad. So,
No, I use them all the time.
do you? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, bullion cubes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So you have
they're
to
in my pack 24/7.
Which makes
heard
sense.
some
It's not a
people,
bad thought.
and it's
No,
like
they're
savory.
loaded with sodium. And here's an
Right.
inside trick. In worst case scenario, you just unwrap the thing and put it in your mouth and suck on it.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. That's the name of the game of stuff like this.
And this is called, it's the same way we would make coffee in the desert. We would pour a couple of wee little grinds of Nestle, okay, into our mouth and swirl it around and create some saliva. And another trick, you're going to laugh, is if you can find a little stone and put that in your cheek, it generates saliva.
Interesting.
These are things we learned from the American Indian.
Wow.
So that's a trick that Indians used to use when they were running long distances or doing things like that in dry climates. Just put it a stone. It can be anything, but a small stone like pebble or something like that in the side of your cheek will cause your mouth to generate saliva, and then you could make your coffee and everything else. That's what, honestly, it's crazy, but if you solve the little cheats that you learn in the military, it's pretty amazing. They pay off. And Brittany's going to say, then why did you carry so much shit in Cocodona last year? Don't ask. Okay.
Yeah,
It's not happening this year.
exactly.
So, but yeah, I think, I agree with you. I think there are a couple of things like that micro stove. If you've got that micro thing and you're using the heat tabs, and it's too bad we can't get a hold of it, but C4 is the absolute perfect heat tab. It burns like 4 times hotter than any heat tab you can ever buy, but you'll never go find that. But those heat tabs are fantastic, and even if you can just have your small cup of coffee in the morning,
Yeah.
that changes like your whole mindset for the
Hmm.
rest of the day, right?
Yeah.
At least it does for me.
It
So
does
I
for me
love that.
too. And my hang up is Christmas blend, Starbucks Christmas blend. So I got a few instant Starbucks Christmas blend during Christmas season, and I have been like hanging on to them and excited to drink them in the desert.
There you go.
Yeah. So I've got my little stove, and 2,000 calories a day feels like nothing. I mean, the meal is like 600. I'm doing like a dehydrated meal for
But you're
dinner.
not limited to 2,000 a day, right? You have to have 2,000 a
Have to
day.
have, but it also weighs a lot. So it's, a balancing act.
So you're not carrying honey buns?
No, but they probably are pretty good calorie to weight ratio, I would guess.
They're fairly light. I mean,
They are.
Somebody on this podcast has studied it, and I believe that they have a significant calorie to weight ratio, and they go with me on every trail race.
and you want them like smushed and gooey and so
Yeah,
hot
and
and crammed in your
it's
bag. I mean,
it
perfect.
doesn't matter. They're good hot, they're good cold, they're good it doesn't matter, and they're so full of preservatives they never go bad.
It's a great idea.
Great idea. But I could
Let's not
tell
change
you,
it too much right now.
I know, but like 1,350 calories in a vanilla glazed. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So if you think about it from that standpoint, like I'll eat like half in the morning and half in the afternoon.
And it brings joy to your heart. So
Brings massive joy to
Which
my
there
heart.
is that.
that's a real win.
So I don't know if I would, load your whole pack full of honey buns, but still. Yeah, it's fantastic. Cool. What else do we want to talk about today? I think we've talked about what shoes are you wearing? A trail shoe?
This was like the hardest decision because I had to decide before Christmas what shoe I was going to wear because I had to order it in England and have it shipped to the cobbler in London because I could not find anybody in the US that would sew and glue on the gaiters. And this guy does it for MDS, like, it's his bread and butter. So I did that and then he shipped them here and they arrived plenty of time. They're great. But so I had to decide in December what was going to work in the desert in 4 months or 3 months. So I went with Topo Mountain Racer first, which I love them, but it was a really hard choice between those or Topo Phantoms because those are actually my favorite shoe. And the guy who's done MDS 18 times says you just need a road shoe. So it was such a hard decision, but I went with those and they seem like they're going to be just fine. So, yeah. And the gaiters, like, I was a little nervous. When you sew them on, it can kind of change the shoe shape a tiny bit, which may not be a problem or may be a big problem.
Yeah.
So they worked out fine. And
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
Because wasn't it MDS? It's like for most of us that just follow through Instagram or like see it, and it's like, wow, that looks cool. What is that? It's like we see the desert. And it's like Sahara Desert, massive desert. But there's actually quite a bit that's not just on sand, right?
Yeah, so a lot of the days are dried riverbeds, mountains, like they call the Arabic word's jebel. So there's jebel days. There's one day that's like the dune day, and it's usually less mileage on the dune day, but really sandy and duney. And then also like if it's unseasonably hot, they shrink the distance between checkpoints. So you
nice.
you aren't going to run out of water. So that's encouraging, kind of.
Yeah.
So, and for the 40th anniversary this year, I signed up for this race back in, I think, June. And in, I think, September, they announced for the 40th anniversary, the long day was going to be 100K. And so many people were so excited. And I thought, oh my gosh, I was already feeling like, what am I doing? But I think it'll be fine now. But at the time, I was panicked. It's usually like 60 to 80 kilometers. And if it's 60, it's harder. If it's 80, it's going to be like an easier 80. So hopefully that means this will be an easy 100K.
An easy 100K. I
In
love
the
it.
middle of a easy week of desert
Yeah.
running.
But then I should also mention that I get a message from Maggie, I don't know, several months ago about like, so I kind of got a scholarship for a 100-mile race. So that's on the, so we're already going big because MDS stepped it up for the 40th celebration. So here we are, Maggie's going even bigger. And as a coach, I'm like, what a great training block. Not that this is the celebration, but it's like you are primed and ready to go. So the 100K is nothing because we've got the 100-mile, which you're
What's the
in good shape.
100-miler?
It's the Huron 100. It's a newer race in Michigan and like the Huron watershed. So on the east side of Michigan. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of like the uh, environment that I really love. River watershed type environment is my favorite. So I'm super excited about that. I did Marsh Madness back in August, which was all around a marsh that stuck out in the lake, and you could see Canada. It was in Michigan, but you could see Canada and Ohio from where it was. And there were so many blue herons. It was and so many lily pads
Cool.
and lily flowers. It was so cool. So I think this 100K or 100-miler, I think it'll be good. It took me like a week to have the guts to tell my husband that I got a scholarship for. I didn't even tell him I applied because I thought, I'm not going to get a scholarship. And I told him, and he was excited about it, but also a little bit like, oh, so this isn't over. As you said.
You should just have him call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have him call me. Or have him call my wife, better yet. That
Yes.
would be more entertaining. Like, I don't think my wife knows yet that I'm in Cocodona. I haven't told her yet. I did slide in that I was going to run the marathon last night, but I haven't.
That
You
marathon
know,
sounds so fun.
she sort of assumed that I was going to get in. I mean, she knows I'm leaving Tuesday night to go to Arizona for a week-long training camp in preparation for a race I wasn't even in yet. So I'm
Yeah.
sure she assumed that I was somehow going to finagle my way into that race. So I had a fallback plan, which was I was just going to show up and run the damn thing after everybody left anyway. So one way or another, I was going to Cocodona this year. So, yeah, cool. And so you've got this, you've got that. What else is on your dream list? I mean, sounds to
My
me like, I find it, I can't imagine that somebody who dreamed of doing MDS was thinking I would do MDS and that'd be it. That'd be my swan song and I'm done.
Yes and no. I've told my Andrew calls her my internet. My husband calls her my internet friend. My internet friend who's also doing MDS. I told her, if I have to crawl across the finish line and I can never walk again, I'm going to do it. But hopefully I'll be up and running. My list is so long, and a lot of them are international, like places that I want to explore. I want to do the Gobi Desert March. I think it's a similar format to MDS. I don't know why it sounds appealing to me, but I think it's really cool to be able to spend that much time in a place exploring and being outside from, Saturday till the following Saturday. So that's one of them. But also, there's a lot of races in Michigan that are really cool. There's a new one. It's called Wolverine 100. It runs across the state on lots of single track and then logging roads and stuff. That's really cool. But actually, the one that I really, really, really want to do is called the Sioux 200, and it's in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Mm.
It's all through the Huron Mountains up there, and it's a place that I grew up going as a kid. My dad would take me hiking, we'd go camping up there and stuff, but I can't really bring that topic up to my husband quite yet.
Hey, Brittany, how well do you know me?
Pretty well that you're full on
What do
board
you think I'm
encouraging
doing right
Maggie,
this second?
checking it out.
The Sioux
I mean, if it's got a
200.
if it's got a 200, Chris is like, "Hey, let me hear about this. What? Tell me
No,
more."
it's Sinister Sports.
It is.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that was what it was called, but in Ontario, though, I didn't know that.
Yep. Yep. Just straight north,
When
couple
is it?
hours.
What time of year?
September, I think.
Oh, that'd be good. So it's after black fly season. That's all that matters.
That is really
Yeah,
important.
you couldn't give me an entry if it was during black fly season.
200
No.
miles of it.
Wow. The Sioux 200. Well, my buddy that has run every 200 on the planet has run this a couple of times. Now that I see it, it just because it registered with me because Sinister Sports has a couple other races that I'm very intrigued. You
They have
know,
the Divide 200 that's
they
really close to where I'm at, and so
yeah.
that I've heard great things.
And what is it? Sisters or something? Forget what it's called. I have a couple others that I'm really interested in.
I think for me, I look at all of you guys who live out west, and it's hard for me not to think how cool it is that you guys get to, especially you, Brittany, you run in the coolest places. But I have so much beauty here around me in Michigan, and the UP of Michigan is amazing. There are so many great races. The Great Lakes endurance races are one of my favorite. They're beautiful. I've run most of them, and there's a couple that I still need to do, but it's exploring this beautiful place that's kind of like unsung. So,
That I did the Superior Hiking Trail FKT, which is like just south of Duluth, Minnesota, which is where I graduated high school, and then all up along Lake Superior, basically to Canada, and it's 300 miles, and it's like that was one of the most grueling things. And the Superior 100 is there, and it's like that's definitely one of the hundreds that will always be on my bucket list. Well, hopefully someday I check it off my bucket list, but it's on the bucket list because I love that trail so much. And when I did that whole FKT, it was just like, this is gnarly. And people from the West wouldn't, wouldn't look too closely at it, even though I wish I remember how much cumulative gain it was, but it was ungodly high because it's constantly up and down, and just jagged and technical and rocky. And but like one of the days of like nights running into the night and like all of the lightning bugs were out, and it's like over the dusk over Lake Superior, and it's just like it is so magical. So I don't know Michigan as well, but I know the Great Lakes, and if it's
Yes,
anything like Lake Superior, it is such a magical place
it really
and can
is.
give you got lots of dune training in on Lake Michigan.
I did. I
I was
couldn't have
wondering
lived
where
in
these dunes were that you were running. I was like,
Yeah.
where's she running dunes at? I'm like looking to see, did she come to Colorado? Is she down in Great Sand Dune?
I couldn't have lived in a better place to train for this. Like, I had thought when I was living in Thailand, it would be a great climate-wise to train. Dunes are not critical, but there are no dunes in Thailand. I've searched the country. This is just, I mean, they're like 15 minutes from my house. So it's pretty great.
Well, there's a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you have to navigate? They don't mark this course for you?
No, thank God they marked the course. I'm not confident enough. I also just kind of like we were talking about earlier, Brittany, I get so in the zone, I space out, and I mean the markers almost need to be flashing sometimes for me. So it's well marked, and I'm grateful for that.
But there is a navigation element to it because they give her like a little map book, and she has to carry a compass, where we talked about that this morning of like basically the compass is added weight. But that's her assignment while she travels, is to navigate with her compass and a map through the airport or something.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, in my mind, and I was just having this discussion. I did an interview for a magazine today on the foundation, and then I would love to see more races go back to getting away from marking course and all the other things. It's sort of entertaining to me that we've got this, sport that prides itself on leave no trace and everything else. And the very first thing we do before we have a race is go throw a whole bunch of markers into the forest, right? And I understand why many races do it. I also understand why locals get irritated by the fact that the markers are in the forest suddenly for a week before the race and a week after the race. And quite a few get left behind, unfortunately, despite everybody's best intentions. So, in closing today, because we're going to talk to you again in a few weeks when you get back from your successful completion of MDS, and I really want to save some of it for that. I want you to go tell your husband that you just received a scholarship to run the Dark Sky 220, our own race at the end of October.
Does that
Don't
come
bother.
with a compass class?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. You can personally just walk along with me because I'm doing it myself. So
Okay,
I will personally navigate you around the course. Okay. But there is
perfect.
no course marking on that. And you won't even have to carry a stove because we can put it in some drop bags. So
That sounds wonderful.
it's going to sound like it's going to be a piece of cake for you. There's streams and stuff where you can clean up. And yeah, it's going to be quite a bit. I think you're perfectly suited for our Dark Sky 220.
You've already got
Don't
the
bother.
big pack, so
You've already got everything you need. And tell your husband that you just got a scholarship for it. Don't tell him the entry fee was only $22. Okay?
but there's more justification to getting your kilt now, so
That's true.
Exactly. Your kilt.
and from a
you'll be
coaching perspective, MDS bump to 100, why not? You got to bump to the 200.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I'm set
love
up
it.
well for it, so I'd be
Yeah,
sad to let
I
it
think you're
go.
going to be in perfect condition for it. And as long as, long dream races, frankly, I can just honestly tell you, like, it is a mind-blowing course. I'm quite proud of what I put together in that course. I don't often feel like bragging about something, but I'm not bragging about what I created because I didn't create anything. All I did was link together some of the most amazing trails on the East Coast and 40,000 feet of gain in Pennsylvania, which is mind-boggling. People don't get it. Like, I had this conversation earlier today and somebody was like, that's not possible. They were like, how is that possible when Cocodona is only like 28,000 feet? I was like, Cocodona is a plateau compared to what we're dealing with. So it is quite a bit of fun. So I'm really excited about it. We would love to have you come and join us. That'd be a blast.
I'm pretty tempted.
Yeah, you're not tempted. I'll just go ahead and sign you up. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun. But
Is it over Veterans Day this coming year?
no, we actually moved it up 2 weeks because last year, I mean, like I love to tell the story that I researched Veterans Day and that week last year going into when we were picking the date. And in the previous 20 years, it had never snowed that early in the year. And we had 4 inches of snow and it was 20 degrees when we started the race. It was, I mean,
Last
the
year was a
fact that
weird year, I think, for weather
it was weird. I mean, the
in a
fact that
lot of
nobody
races.
froze to death out there is actually shocking. But, I mean, and here's the thing. We don't mark the course. You can do it, completely self-supported where you carry everything. But I think the preferred methodology for a base of enjoyment that people discovered last year was to put drop bags about every 30 or 40 miles, you know? And, yeah, but you know, you have plenty of time to do it. I mean, it's 5 full days, and 125 hours, and it's plenty of time to do it on. And it's really, I mean, it's called the Dark Sky 220. It's really about a 205-mile course, but I guarantee you, everybody that finished it this past year had more than 220 miles because of navigational errors. So we built those in. But it's a pretty cool course. I mean, it's about the best thing or closest thing you might get to like a Dragon's Back or something like that here in the United States with Dragon's Back going away now, which is very sad to me because it was on my like wish list. Yeah.
Well,
But
I am more than interested, slightly less than committed. Because I've heard all the podcasts about dark skies,
yeah.
and each one I think that sounds really awful and fun. But also that it's not on Veterans Day. In our house, Veterans Day is a sacred holiday,
Yeah.
and
Of
we
course.
do a Veterans Day crawl my husband and I, we get up, get the kid to school, and we start our Veterans Day crawl. He maps it out from morning till absolutely very late at night. Every single spot we need to stop for free coffee, donut, free lunch,
Nice.
and we have the time of our lives. And sometimes my dad and sister join in. They're both veterans as well, and it's like when if he takes any job, he tells them, I do not work on this day, and they respect it and cheer him on. He literally maps out a route of where we're going and then be home by 1 so he can sleep off his carb coma, back out at 4. It's really fun.
Awesome. Well, I love it.
That's cool.
Well, no, it's not over Veterans Day this year. We moved it up 2 weeks, and ideally we catch the end of the fall foliage in Pennsylvania now.
Perfect.
So it should be quite amazing. Um, yeah, we're
Okay,
very
pencil me
excited
in.
about this year. What? Well, we've already counted you in. I don't know why we're still talking about it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. Best of luck to you. I know you don't need the luck because the wonderful and beautiful Brittany has prepared you for this event, but
I wish you were pacing me.
yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
all wish she was pacing. She wished she was doing anything other than what she's doing right now.
That's
But
true.
Brittany,
Last day of my cast today.
last day of the cast. Oh,
I
cool.
get it off tomorrow.
You get that smelly thing cut off of you tomorrow.
And then I get a boot. But it's different.
Yeah, the boot's
Progress.
completely different. Das Boot. Yes.
That's right.
Well, congratulations. And I'm very excited for you, proud of you, and go represent us well. Remember to take lots of pictures and videos and give us some good stuff I guess we won't get anything from you till you get home, right?
Actually, they have what's called the emotion box. Years ago, before the race transitioned to ownership, you used to be able to email the participants and the crew would print out all your emails and put them in your tent for you to come back to. They don't do that anymore. Now they have what's called an emotion box where you go in and you have 1 minute to record a video to send
Hmm.
to anybody. And I just might have to add you guys to the list.
Oh, that's
Oh, that would
cool.
be amazing.
The emotion box. This is
I
where you
like
go
that.
cry
Corny
your
name.
soul away. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah. I think there's tissues in there, all the works.
Well, I gotta tell you, well, for the first time, you'll know what it feels like to be deployed in the army. Because I tell you what, I can tell you when I got that, early on in my career, and we got like 90 seconds to call home. Like those 90 seconds made the world of a difference. And even if I didn't get my parents sometimes or whoever I was calling, just to hear a voicemail was all I needed.
Yeah.
Like to know that there was some other reason that I was doing this. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I hope you find everything you were looking for out there and lots of things you weren't.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank you for everything. Both of you. Thank you for the scholarship. And this year has been so much more than I thought it could be. So I'm just
yeah,
so
and
excited.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Cantor. Cantor is the company that sponsored your coaching position. And my good friend Carl Cantor is the CEO and founder of that company. And they were very excited to step forward and offer you that scholarship and fund your opportunity to go there, and kicked in some travel funds for you. Not a lot, but enough to maybe help out, hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm very excited to have you represent our foundation and Cantor at MDS. So
I'm
I
so
know he's
grateful.
looking forward to feedback on it and seeing what happened. And
Thank you.
okay,
See you
we'll talk
guys.
to you when you get back.
Yay!
I'll be a different color, I'm sure.
Yeah.